In this section, we will speak about outcomes within BoomiFlow. Outcomes allow the user to move from one map element to another within the flow, or even from one map element into another flow. Outcomes from step and page elements have the ability to render as clickable buttons. Outcomes can also be created from within a step element. They can also be combined with business rules to determine the path of execution based on predetermined logic. Creating an outcome is as simple as hovering your mouse cursor over a map element like the start element. Your arrow cursor will change to a cross arrow cursor and then to a hand cursor when positioned near the middle of the map element. The map element will be outlined in green. Click on the element and then drag an arrow from that element to the element you want to connect to. In this image, you can see that the start element is being connected to a step element with a go outcome. The first outcome will never render to the user, and it will always be from a start element. But the outcome does not always need to be labeled go. Since this first outcome is coming from the start element, this outcome is never rendered to the end user, and therefore would not be a clickable button. It is simply an outcome to kick off your flow and allow your flow to be rendered as an app. As mentioned before, outcomes coming from step or page elements will render as clickable buttons. Therefore, there will be a labeled text box shown when creating outcomes of this kind. The label is one way to look at an outcome you're creating and know if the outcome will be rendered as a clickable button. The entry that you make in the name text box is used as an API reference. The name and label entries for an outcome can be the same or different based on your requirements. Outcomes can also be moved by dragging them to point to a different element. All of your flows will have at least one outcome. No outcome can be created that would connect a map element back to the start element. Simply stated, you can only connect the start element to other map elements. Additionally, the start element can only have one outcome. If you delete an outcome, it cannot be undone.